DJI just announced the OSMO Action, and well, everybody's saying that the GoPro is now dead. Sell your stock, get rid of it. This is the nail in the coffin, and I don't really see it that way. Stay tuned. What's going on, guys? Let's get right into it. Listen, if you've been on the internet today, you realize that the OSMO Action is a beast. They pretty much took everything GoPro's been doing and did it right. But I don't think it's the end of GoPro. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. And if you haven't seen the specs, I'm going to list the specs of the OSMO Action. The things that they really did well was, one was a screen on the front, which you really didn't know you needed it until you had it. Much better image stabilization, which is software. Nobody's really giving you really good image stabilization at 4K 60. They all want you to shoot at 2.7K, something like that. But don't get me wrong, it does a great job at 4K 60, just not the best. Tests and different things show that it's better than the GoPro 7, and that's cool. There's a few other things like HDR and things like that that makes this camera great. And then they priced it competitively, and that's well, fine and dandy. But before you sell your GoPro stock, there's some things you need to keep in mind. One is this particular OSMO unit is based off a Sony sensor. Now, that's not a bad thing, but that's what GoPro used to use. Now they develop their own sensors. And if anything, this will push the competition in that area, which GoPro really never had any competitors. Who, Garmin? Like who did they have? Sony couldn't even compete in that space because they had these funny looking tube style cameras. Like nobody has really competed in that area that you can think of. Like when you think action cam, you think GoPro. People are probably going to call this the DJI GoPro. So the winner is definitely going to be the consumer. It's going to be you and I, who now can sit back and look at GoPro and say, okay, that's all you got? We're going to bring something good. We're going to punch you in the mouth. And to have competition like that is great. I wish GoPro would have stayed in the drone industry, because right now, DJI doesn't have competition for a drone to compete with the Phantom lineup. That's why we haven't gotten a new DJI Phantom in like 2 years. They keep giving you little increments, and that's trash. So I don't think it's over for GoPro. I think they're going to, because they've been rumored to have 8K sensors, and it's been a lot of rumors with GoPro. Like they have been sitting on a lot of so-called technology. I personally think the future of action cams is with their Fusion lineup and not with the Hero lineup. That's just me. I have a Fusion. I love it. It's one of my favorite cameras, period. It's something about capturing everything and going back to look at it later. And I'll give you an example. For those who know me personally, my father passed last year from cancer. We knew he was passing. Doctors gave him a certain amount of time. I went back when I went to visit him, and they were saying, it's getting closer to the end. It's going to be rougher and rougher. I took my GoPro Fusion with me. I set it in the middle of the room. I recorded for hours and hours and hours. So for me to be able to go back and relive those conversations with them, is priceless, because I can look around the whole room, and I swear every time I go back and look at that footage, something's different. Like it's something I didn't notice. That to me I love it. I love it. It's better than me having a GoPro on my head or having a camera in somebody's face. Like, be yourself, be natural. I was able to sit it down. People didn't notice it. We had great conversations, and we were ourselves while capturing the whole room and everybody's expression. And it was just something that showed me how practical 360 cameras are compared to traditional cameras. Now I have footage of conversations with my father that I'll have forever in 5K that I can go back and look at and relive that moment and still turn my head within the video and hear things in that direction. So that to me means more than pointing the camera at somebody. So I think GoPro's future is there and not with just an action cam. I think there will still be a market for an action cam, but you got to think about it. Like, what more can you do with an action cam? You can put a camera on the front, you can put a camera on the back, you can do more in-body stabilization, maybe find a way to do more live streaming. And then what is it? Just an arms race on sensors. And if that's the case, I think GoPro will win that race because they can develop their own sensor, and DJI has to wait for Sony. Now, DJI may develop their own sensor in the future. That's not something they haven't done. However, I think right now the power is still within the hands of GoPro. Plus, they're due to release something later this year, so don't sell your GoPro stock yet. I don't think they're done. I just don't think they're done. I'd hope they get back into the drone market. They laid people off. They didn't fire people, but that's on them. However, GoPro's not dead. Not yet. This is a great camera by DJI. I'm not taking nothing away from it. It is the industry leader right now when it comes to action cameras. There's nothing close. I'm not going to say there's nothing close. The Hero 7 is close. But don't write off GoPro just yet. I don't think those guys are done. But that's just my opinion. You know, hey, take it with a grain of salt. Remember that all the videos that you're watching that are released before it is available are from people who receive the camera from DJI. Not saying that they have, DJI's best interest at heart. However, they were given a free camera. I'm going to say something nice about it. And then you're comparing it with last year's model of GoPro. So I'm not saying that those guys are lying or misleading or anything like that. But if you give me to this year's model and then I compare it against last year's model and it's free, I'm probably going to have a lot of nice things to say about it, especially if it's actually better. So just take that with a grain of salt and be mindful of it. That's it, man. This is my opinion on it. Don't count GoPro out yet. I don't know nothing. I don't work with them guys. However, I know that they have more control over their action cam than other companies, and that's why they've been successful. In my opinion, if I was GoPro, I would come out with 2 different GoPros. I would continue to do the Hero, which would be a lot of stuff that's affordable, and I would come out with a really high model, a $899, $799, maybe $1,000 high-end, maybe 1-inch sensor model for professionals that need to put little cameras in little places. And still have your consumer action cam. And then I would continue to develop the Fusion. And it would be nice to see those guys get back into the drone market. But they should have just bought a company. They should have bought, what was that other company? 3DM, or it was a few other struggling drone companies that they should have bought, in my opinion. But don't sleep on GoPro. Don't sell your stock yet, because I don't think those guys are going nowhere. All right, guys. Hit that thumbs up if you feel me. Hit that thumbs down twice if you don't. And I'll see you guys next video.